After sorting through hundreds of bills dealing with issues many of us face in our daily lives, the Maine legislature wrapped up this year's session early this morning. Good evening, I'm Brian Yacono.
And I'm Amanda Hill. Those bills, now many of them drawing little attention, some of them controversial, are all headed to the governor's desk. News Center Maine's Caroline LaCour is at the State House tonight to tell us how the vote on some big ticket bills went. Caroline?
Yeah, Brian and Amanda, after a late night turned early morning for lawmakers, the State House here in Augusta has been pretty quiet throughout the day. The supplemental budget was one of the items that many debated on, but despite rising tensions between parties on spending priorities, both chambers were finally able to come to an agreement.
I feel there's a lot to be proud of, although it certainly went quite late.
After days and nights of debate, lawmakers are breathing a sigh of relief after a hectic end to the legislative session.
But this in 14 years is the latest I've ever left.
The final supplemental budget, passing both chambers early Thursday morning, includes millions to increase affordable housing in state, investments towards mental and public health services, K-12 education, and more.
The coastal storm relief funding, I think, was a great bipartisan effort.
Also included in the state budget is storm relief. $60 million, as originally proposed by Governor Janet Mills, will head towards rebuilding coastal communities. A fiscal decision both chambers went back and forth in the final hours before the deadline.
In light of what we saw with these recent storms, that it's a rainy day fund that we're pulling from, and it truly is a rainy day.
Others are applauding the passage of a number of gun safety bills that would establish a 72-hour waiting period on gun sales, prevent the sale of certain devices like bump stocks, and strengthen Maine's yellow flag laws.
And I think it's just representative of how the people of Maine feel, that there really has been a huge outcry from the majority of Mainers who want these measures passed.
Supporters hope to revisit a proposed red flag law that failed to pass, but not all are in favor of those bills headed to the governor's desk.
I think it was largely unneeded. When we look at specifically 72-hour waiting periods, it's nothing to do with Lewiston. We pointed that out, that this would have made no difference. They wouldn't even listen.
Some lawmakers are also pointing fingers over how the legislative process unfolded this session, calling out last-minute bills and changes as the reason why some of the highly anticipated issues died on chamber floors.
And I think there has to be a process, no matter which side is in charge, that everybody gets a chance to have their day in court, per se.
Now, lawmakers I spoke with mentioned that they might start to urge the Joint Rules Committee next session to prevent any sort of down-to-the-wire decisions like we saw this time around. Governor Mills has said that she supports the budget that was passed today and is expected to sign it in the next upcoming days. Live in Augusta, Caroline LaCour, News Center, Maine.